The first 45 minutes, of course, dominated by a flurry of bookings for both sets of players. Calafiori, Hincapié, Mosquera and Zubamendi all in the book for Arsenal so far. Marc Cucurella joining them, and of course Moises Caicedo sent for an early bath just before the end of the first period. One change apiece for both managers. Estivao off, Alejandro Garnacho on for Chelsea. So the Chelsea team: Sanchez in goal, Gusto, Fofana, Chalobah and Cucurella, Reece James, Enzo Fernandez, Garnacho, Neto and João Pedro. And change at left back for Arsenal is David Raya in goal, Miles Lewis-Skelly in for Ricardo Calafiori alongside Hincapié, Mosquera and Timber. And then it's as you were for the front six: Eze, Zubamendi, Rice, Saka, Marino and Martinelli. A free kick for Chelsea here. That foul from Hincapié on João Pedro, 30 yards from goal on this near right hand side. Floated in by James. Raya came, and Raya had to dash back there as João Pedro tried to knock it back across goal. Poured behind for a corner. The Arsenal number one crept off his line and then had a change of heart as he just didn't feel like he could get there. Pedro trying to help it back into a dangerous area. And Raya opts for safety first. The first corner of the second half goes in favour of Chelsea. Whipped into the near post, it's flicked on, and it's into the back of the net for Chelsea! Breakthrough for the 10 men, and it's Trevor Chalobah! 2 minutes into the second half, his third Premier League goal of the season, and he gets there at the front post for Chelsea. Raya flaps, and it flies into the back of the Arsenal net. And they're a man down, but they're a goal up. And Mikel Arteta pensive on the sidelines. That is exactly the start to the second half Chelsea would have dreamed of. Probably not expected. Arsenal certainly not ready for it. Just floated in by James. And Chalobah flicks it over. A queue of Arsenal players in behind him. It's Rice who goes up with him initially. Just glances it on off the back of his head. Raya not able to get up off his line in time, and there's nothing that Mosquera or Hincapié could do. Chelsea a man down, but 1-0 in front. What a start to the second half here. The Chelsea players with the bicep celebration in front of their fans. They need to show mental strength here now. They've got 40 minutes to battle on and try and hold off the league leaders and inflict just their second defeat of the 25-26 season. A long road to go though. Well, 50 minutes gone as Arsenal get us back underway here, and Chelsea are in front. Here's Hincapié, just steps over the halfway line as the blue block gets back into position. João Pedro up top on his own. Fernandez has moved back into a deeper position alongside Reece James. There's Neto on this near right side, Garnacho over on the left hand side. So it's a 4-4-1 for the home team. Cucurella, Fofana, Chalobah and Gusto at the back. And Hincapié again rolls into the feet of Gabriel Martinelli, who's just stopped short there midway inside his own half by Gusto. There are two wide players, will look to double up to deal with the threat of Saka on one flank and Martinelli on the other. And here is Saka, twinkle toes in front of Alejandro Garnacho, wants to get on that left foot, tried to catch Sanchez out at his near post, and Sanchez just about manages to save and prevent the corner. It's so important that Garnacho is able to do his defensive duty here, particularly in this situation that Chelsea find themselves in. And that was trickling wide of the post. Sanchez just about manages to stop the whole ball rolling in behind. And Arsenal will call the tune here now for the remainder of the game. But the question is, will they be able to find a goal? That defeat up at Anfield back in August is the only time they've failed to score in a game as well this season. Well, that's the challenge thrown down to Mikel Arteta and his players now. Here's Rice, just on the edge of the centre circle inside the Chelsea half of the field. Rolls it to Mosquera. Timber push right up down that right flank, almost next to Saka, and likewise with Lewis-Skelly and Martinelli and Cape. Now here is Martinelli. Just to step in field and get away from Gusto, but Chelsea man gets a foot in and eventually just fizzes back to Hincape. He's seen plenty of the ball so far. So we've got back underway, tries to scoop one over the head of Gusto for Lewis Skelly, but Sanchez will eventually get his gloves on that one. And we'll see Chelsea try and stretch this game and pinch every second possible. Anthony Taylor already telling Robert Sanchez to get on with it. Fizzed up towards João Pedro, but it's seen back to his goalkeeper by Christian Mosquera. There's a bit of movement already on the Arsenal bench. Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, Victor Gyökeres, Noni Madueke. All options to come on if needed. Saka just crowded out there by three Chelsea players. Fernandes, Garnacho and Cucurella swarming on the Gunners skipper. Eventually Cucurella just manages to pop it away. Chelsea happy to just hoof that into Arsenal territory and keep the clock running. David Reyes dashed over to take over throwing duties. Here is Rice, midway inside his own half of the field. Anthony Taylor just calls a halt to proceedings here as Enzo Fernandez took a whack to the mouth. You can imagine what the Arsenal players think of that one. And help back to his feet though. No need for treatment. Chelsea, as we mentioned in the first half, not beaten Arsenal in their last 7. The last victory against them coming back in 2021, and they've not won at home here since 2018. Winner from Marcos Alonso. Here's Saka. Steps in off that right flank, rolls it to Mosquera, back with Saka. Timber's actually gone beyond Saka. That passing lane just cut off by Chelsea and get work back onto the halfway line with Zubamendi. Lewis Skelly. He's not really spent any time at left back so far since he's come on. Miles Lewis Skelly's pushed in field alongside Zubamendi and Declan Rice. Here is Zubamendi. A little bit of a loose touch there, but João Pedro not able to get across in the centre circle. Saka takes over. Mosquera again. Rolled forward by Saka onto Timber. Good crossing position down this right. And she just fizzes into the gloves of Robert Sanchez. James will lead the charge here. And he's caught there by Miles Lewis Skelly. And you guessed it, another card. Arsenal starting to rack them up now. 5th caution for Mikel Arteta's team. Great run in this from Reece James. Demanded the ball rolled out to him by Robert Sanchez and just turns on the burners. Too quick, too direct for Lewis Skelly. And just blocks him off, and no real complaints there. Not really been too many complaints about any of the decisions that Anthony Taylor has made. Most of the cards have been pretty warranted, and despite the need for VAR for the Moises Caicedo sending off, he's generally backed his own judgment in every move that he's made. As we get ourselves back underway here, Anthony Taylor has just signalled to the bench to allow Chelsea to make the change that they've been planning for the last few minutes. So 55 minutes gone, and Liam Delap will take the place of João Pedro. Battering ram up top. He'll try and occupy those Arsenal defenders and shield from the front as Chelsea try and hold on to this lead. Hoisted in from the right hand side by Declan Rice. That's an awkward one to deal with, but Gusto, helped out by Pedro Neto, just about manages to do that. James again here, storming through the midfield, gets away from Martin Zubamendi, clipped over to the far left hand side. Garnacho on the break here. Declan Rice has got ground to cover to stay with him. He gets the block in there, Rice. Going to be a corner for Chelsea. With Timber pushed up so high there. Rice is back on defensive duty with Mosquera and Hincape. As part of this dice roll by Arteta to force Arsenal into the game. Chelsea have a corner on the exact same side where Trevor Chalobah headed them in front. James takes his time to go over and take this in front of the Chelsea fans. Fofana is up alongside Chalobah. Delap there trying to pin David Raya to his goal line. James curls it in, near post again, dealt with by Declan Rice. Garnacho will keep it alive over on that far left hand side. Back to Reece James, floated in once more. Fofana just tried to help it on there, but it's eventually smuggled away by Arsenal, and Martinelli can't quite lead the charge. Gusto gets across, wins back possession for Chelsea. Neto back to Robert Sanchez. Just has to ping that downfield in the direction of Garnacho, who does win a throw-in off Julian Timber. We've got a double Arsenal change set to go here. Former Chelsea man Noni Madueke, who scored for Chelsea against Arsenal the season's gone by. He's being readied alongside Martin Odegaard. Anthony Taylor will allow Arsenal to make these changes before that throw-in is taken. Odegaard is on for Zubamendi. Madueke for Gabriel Martinelli. Straight swaps, you would anticipate Martinelli on this near left-hand side. Been replaced by Madueke. Saka will stay where he is, and Odegaard, who takes the armband from Bukayo Saka, into the middle of the park with Declan Rice. Cucurella with the throw-in. Into the feet of Delap, will try and win another throw-in there. And manages to concede one, Chelsea substitute. Here's Hincapié, driving from the edge of his own penalty area. Pops that into the feet of Eberechi Eze. Now Madueke to Lewis Skelly. First touch for the Arsenal substitute. Rice over to Timber at right back. Now Odegaard wants to get himself involved. The Norway international in a very injury disrupted campaign for him so far, and a key role in a game like this. Certainly lift his mood and those of the Arsenal fans crammed into that far corner of Stamford Bridge. Gives away possession this time, Odegaard, as Liam Delap chases him back. Here's Rice inside the centre circle. Rolled on to Bukayo Saka. Correa quick to go and shut him down on the far right touchline. Odegaard wants to work it onto that left foot. Finds Saka. He'll go at Cucurella to the byline. Bukayo Saka manages to fling the cross into the box, and Marino with the equaliser. Arsenal are level. And the man who's not a number 9 with the number 9's finish 2 yards out. He just waited for Saka to get that onto his left foot. Great ball in from the Arsenal man. And Marino just gets there first. Ahead of Gusto. Ahead of Pedro Neto. Neto just switches off there. He probably could have dropped back in and helped Gusto a little more. And Marino, too sharp, too brave. Just nods that easily beyond Robert Sanchez, his second Premier League goal of the season. And he was the hero for Arsenal at home to Chelsea last season. Scored the winner, the Basque man. He's got Arsenal back on terms here just before the hour mark. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. Chalobah with the shock opener right at the start of the second period. And Mikel Merino there. We won't get too many routine finishes like that. Couldn't really miss. Popped right onto his head by Bukayo Saka. And we are back level here. Enzo Fernandez on the centre circle, looking for runners either side. Arsenal back in numbers though, as Chelsea try and make some ground inside the Arsenal half of the field. Cucurella challenged there by Saka, caught by Saka. And the referee here just telling Enzo Fernandez to step away. Saka telling Cucurella to get back to his feet. No foul actually given there. Certainly seemed as if Saka was a little excessive in his challenge on Marc Cucurella. Here's Fofana. Ball over the halfway line, cut out by Miles Lewis-Skelly. It'll bounce kindly for Mikel Merino. Now Madueke, squared in field, tries to find Eze. Good interception from Enzo Fernandez. Liam Delap goes to the ground there. He's claiming he was pushed by Hincapié. Referee disagrees. Arsenal quick to get on with it. Odegaard tries to fizz that first time over to Bukayo Saka, but it's cut out. Garnacho won't quite catch that. And will go for an Arsenal throw. Nicely poised now, Arsenal getting the equaliser that they needed. I expect they will have the run of things. They've got the man advantage following Caicedo's dismissal. But have they got the craft, the guile to pick through this Chelsea defence, or will it be a set piece, long throw in? Maybe punctures the Blues back line. Rice through the centre circle, rolls it to the right for Martin Odegaard. Now Timber, Saka just steps in field as Timber floats that one in. Well fielded by Robert Sanchez, who immediately wants to get Chelsea on the front foot with Arsenal out of shape. Neto with pace to burn down this right hand side, wants to get at Piero Hincapié. He's got him on the back foot here, all the way to the byline. Great challenge. Piero Hincapié just recovers there in front of Pedro Neto, and there's a bit of chest beating by the two players. Hincapié, like all centre backs, celebrating that like a goal right in the face of Pedro Neto. Needs to get himself back in position though here, Piero Hincapié. Pedro Neto enjoyed that one as well. Real edge to this now. Real chance, of course, that Anthony Taylor will be reaching for his pocket a few more times. Neto curls it in near post, and Anthony Taylor already blows his whistle. Martin Odegaard is down here. Odegaard just trying to block off Wesley Fofana, and he's claiming that he was caught in the jaw by the Chelsea defender. The corner will be retaken. Odegaard will just follow Fofana back out to the penalty spot. So Neto to reload here for Chelsea. Near post again. Rice with the header. Comes off Cucurella. That'll be a goal kick for Arsenal. Raya first time trying to free Madueke. And Augusto, the last man back there on the halfway line. Really important header, just to ensure that Chelsea weren't caught out. You're going to have to do this, Chelsea. Get back in position, get back into that low block when Arsenal have the ball. Madueke just stopped short of the Chelsea penalty area there. Neto chasing him back home. He's of course back home here at Stamford Bridge, the England international. Controversial call over the summer to swap Stamford Bridge for the Emirates. So a pretty positive start to life after trading blue for red. Not quite a guaranteed starter for Mikel Arteta by any stretch, but adds real squad depth and versatility, and that is certainly something that Arsenal will need if they're to fire on 3 or 4 fronts in 2026. Here come Chelsea down the left hand side. Garnacho back to Cucurella. Chalobah, Fofana. A little bit of Chelsea possession here as they just try and take the sting out of Arsenal ever so slightly. 65 minutes gone. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. And possession stats really tell the story since the start of the second half. Arsenal have had 3/4 of the ball, got the goal that they needed to level it up via Mikel Merino. Now they need to find a way to go on and win. Here's Hincapié, just left of centre, halfway into the Chelsea half of field. Eze is chased backwards by Reece James, finds his way out to Mosquera. Martin Odegaard, who's drifted over into that right hand pocket alongside Saka and Timber, tries to drift the ball into Madueke, knocked down. Fofana will get there before Juddy and Timber. Eze tried to lift that over the head of Wesley Fofana, but it only succeeds in being caught out by the Chelsea man. Chelsea will now break over on that left. Garnacho stepping in field, does really well just to hold off the challenge of Timber. Neto skipped past Madueke. He's got Gusto in support here with Miles Lewis-Skelly looking to get back at a rate of knots, and the ball in field is rescued eventually by Reece James. They are managing the situation quite well, Chelsea. Liam Delap there getting involved, nice link-up play. He tries to bring Garnacho into it, but the ball back into either Delap or the darting run of Malo Gusto is eventually cleared away. Not that far though. Garnacho picks it up, tries to fizz a first-time cross in. Rice gets there first. Eze helps it up towards the centre circle, and Noni Madueke, and Wesley Fofana has just barged into the back of his old teammate. A free kick for Arsenal. There's Lewis-Skelly to take. Just rolls that back to Piero Hincapié. I'm curious to see if Mikel Arteta does throw Victor Gyökeres on in the closing stages. Gabriel Jesus had a wrecked start to the season due to injury. There's another possible option. Hasn't actually played in the Premier League so far since the start of 25-26. Would anticipate that if the score stays as it is, Arteta will go for broke. Here's Odegaard. Everybody in Chelsea blue back in their own defensive third. Liam Delap trying to lead the press on Declan Rice. He finds Lewis-Skelly, now Madueke, tiptoed up the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. He's got runners down this left-hand side with Hincapié, but Gusto cuts out the ball. Odegaard will take over. Now Madueke just tried a little drag past Enzo Fernandez, and it'll fall eventually for Declan Rice. Rolled into the feet of Merino. He tries to nudge it onto Eze. Chelsea just throwing everything at it here to try and clear this latest spell of Arsenal pressure, but Lewis-Skelly will keep things moving for Mikel Arteta's team. Mosquera, now Odegaard. Chelsea camp back in defensive position here as Odegaard tries to orchestrate something. Mosquera and Merino back with Mosquera, who's pushed up almost as a right winger here. Didn't fancy lofting a cross in there. Mikel Merino, the only real target to aim at there, and eventually as he tries to play the wall pass over to Bukayo Saka, spins out of play for a Chelsea throw. The Arsenal players screaming at Marc Cucurella to hurry up as he strolls over to take this in front of the corner flag. There's no rush here from Cucurella or Chelsea. They know their place in this game. Hold on to this 1-1. Possibly try and pinch something late on. And thrown from Cucurella. One back by Merino. Try and barge his way into the penalty area. Reece James sticks a foot in and concedes the corner. So 20 minutes to go here. Delicately balanced. Arsenal had to come from behind against the 10 men. And the emphasis will be right on them to try and force something from this. Starting with this Bukayo Saka corner. Plenty of Arsenal bodies forward here. Inside the 6-yard box, Timber, Mosquera, Merino. Saka hoisted in. Sanchez just about manages to get in front of Mosquera. Claims that one relatively easily, the Spaniard. A busy few weeks over to the end of 2026 for both Arsenal and Chelsea. The demands of the League Cup and the Champions League, alongside balancing their Premier League exploits. James flings that over to the left hand side for Garnacho. The opportunity to try and twist Jurrien Timber one way and the other. Needs support, gets it from Cucurella on the overlap. Lifted in towards Neto, knocked down. Raya gets there. Good defending there from Miles Lewis-Skelly. Just managed to put Neto off his leap as he tried to steer that one on goal. And Martin Ødegaard will drive Arsenal through the centre circle. Chelsea flooding back in numbers here. Reece James is rallying the troops here. Madueke back to Hincapié. Eberechi Eze is effectively pushed up as a central striker alongside Mikel Merino. There is Saka. Turns infield away from Cucurella. He just spins that one over the top of Sanchez's bar. He's tried that a few times so far today, Bukayo Saka. It is the Saka goal. Rolling in off the right hand side, getting onto that left foot and letting fly. We are going to see another Arsenal change. And it is indeed Victor Gyökeres. He will replace Eberechi Eze for the final 18 minutes or so here. Imagine that will be two up top for Arsenal, Gyökeres and Merino. Sanchez goes long. Timber gets there before Garnacho. Correa headed forward. Rice beats Delap and James beats Merino. Brilliant header that from Reece James, and Cape forced into a bit of evasive action, and an awkward clearance gets the job done. Chelsea are winning these little tussles in the middle of the pitch where they need to, and illegally in that instance. Mikel Merino goes down, he's caught late by Enzo Fernandez. Merino has just pulled a little bit deeper, but as Arsenal pour forward, he will get right up alongside Victor Gyökeres, who's flanked by Saka and Madueke. Martin Ødegaard pushed up very, very high as well. Arsenal happy to go for this. They know there is an opportunity here. Chelsea naturally begin to tire. Madueke drive at Neto. Really good bit of defending there from Marc Cucurella. Madueke just about manages to get the cross in, but Cucurella with the vital clearing header, lofted back in towards Bukayo Saka. He couldn't steer it across the face of Sanchez's goal, gathered in by the Chelsea keeper. Right idea from Bukayo Saka, just spotted that Merino and Gyökeres both making runs across the 6-yard line, but not able to get his foot around the ball and give Sanchez a headache to deal with. Here's Piero Hincapié over the halfway line. He's got Miles Lewis-Skelly and Noni Madueke both for support in this left channel, but goes in field to Merino. Now Rice. Mosquera. Space for him to dart forward. Chelsea happy to just drop off and sit strung out on the edge of their own penalty box. Saka once again to come in field. Just manages to clip another little ball over the top and behind for a goal kick. Caught in two minds there, Bukayo Saka. Didn't quite have the confidence to take the shot on, and if that was a cross, it certainly wasn't what he wanted to execute. What does Mikel Arteta have up his sleeve for the final 15 here? Sanchez clears downfield. Rice wins the first header. Saka chased backwards by Cucurella. Rice was just lifted into the space vacated there by Cucurella. So Ødegaard with a bit of green grass to dart into here. Saka recovers. Timber outside him, tries to go into Saka. Cut out inside the Chelsea penalty area though. Here is Trevor Chalobah. Stretches those long legs of his over the halfway line. Tries to go into Garnacho. Two Chelsea players not on the same wavelength there. Arsenal will recover over by their corner flag. Mosquera. Rolled across the halfway line for Merino. Misses out. Hincapié this time goes first time to Madueke, but Neto will knock that one out for a throw-in. Both managers being told by Sam Barrett, the fourth official, just to step back into the technical areas. Tension's high for both of them. Enzo Maresca trying to rally his players to hold on to what they've got and make sure they don't crack and crumble. Mikel Arteta certainly sniffs a win here. Timber goes to the byline. He's blocked off by Wesley Fofana. Timber thought that was a corner in Arsenal's favour. Referee says goal kick. And the ball initially was intended for Victor Gyökeres, and Timber just gave him the shout. Two players have gone clattering into each other, and is indeed the final touch off Jurrien Timber. It's not often you say this in a Premier League game, but the officials, big decisions and small today. For my money, they've got pretty much everything absolutely bang on. Not in a difficult situation for Anthony Taylor to manage, and 3 Arsenal players carded inside the first half an hour. Threatened to completely derail this game. Moises Caicedo's red was checked and upgraded following a VAR consultation, and when the dust settles tomorrow, I don't think he will have too many complaints either. Timber gives away another cheap foul there as Alejandro Garnacho was running backwards into his own half and caught from behind by Arsenal's right back. It's a free kick for Chelsea here, right over on that far left touchline, just inside Arsenal territory. Neto to take. Fofana and Chalobah both wheeled up from the back. Liam Delap in there as well. Neto just receiving some last minute instructions from Reece James. Floated in by Neto. Was knocked down by Wesley Fofana, and Arsenal do manage to clear it away. There's a Chelsea player down inside the penalty area here, but it's play on as Cucurella does well to win back possession, and Delap strikes one. Took a skid off the ground in front of David Raya. Manages just to gather it in. Fernandes gets the initial contact there. Fofana try and steer it on goal, and eventually Delap straight at David Raya. Arsenal now on the front foot. Bukayo Saka storming forward. Can he work this on infield, on into his left foot? He does, but again just lashes that over the top of the crossbar. Anthony Taylor's attention just been called to an issue at the other end of the pitch as Enzo Fernandez is engaged in some verbals with David Raya. Raya wasn't happy at what he thought was play acting from the Argentinian, who went down during that free kick from Pedro Neto. To the final 10 minutes now. Chelsea holding firm. Arsenal just starting to get a little edgy as the dark arts of the Blues keeping them frustrated. Enzo Fernandez again right in the middle of it, tangling with Jurrien Timber over on that far side, wins the throw in. Chelsea number 8 in a battle again away here with Timber. Wants a foul, doesn't get it. Correa and then just rags Jurrien Timber to the floor, and decision goes against him. Quick restart from Raya to Hincapié. Space to storm forward down this left hand side. Chelsea just a little out of shape momentarily and rolls it in field to Declan Rice on the halfway line. Mosquera. Now this is interesting from Mikel Arteta. He's asked Bukayo Saka and Noni Madueke to switch wings. Saka very, very rarely seen on this left-hand side for Arsenal, not since his early days in the first team. Rice is called to dart across over on the far side to get there in front of Delap. Saka on the left-hand side, you do not see that very often. Miles Lewis-Skelly here just tangling inside the centre circle with Reece James. He's been absolutely superb today for Chelsea, has led by example either side of the Caicedo red card, and He won himself a free kick there. Mikel Merino knocking him to the floor this time. Every second counts in this type of situation for Chelsea as they tick on towards the end of the game. With 5 minutes added on at the end of the first half, I'd probably guess we'd be in that similar territory at the end of the second. Sanchez wanders forward to take this free kick inside the centre circle for Chelsea. Maresca happy to push everyone forward for a set piece. Sanchez knocks it up towards Liam Delap. He gets there in front of Hincapié, but it's dealt with by Lewis Skelly and then hammered forward by Riot. Taken down on the halfway line though by Trevor Chalobah. Enzo Fernandez. Just a bit too fleet-footed for Madueke there. Keeps possession for Chelsea inside the centre circle now with Fofana. Fofana happy to go all the way back to Robert Sanchez and just keep Chelsea ticking over. You throw in for Chelsea there. Garnacho up against Timber. Midway inside the Arsenal half of the field, over on the far left for Chelsea. Cucurella hurls it down the line for Delap. He'll scrap away there with Timber and Mosquera. There's certainly an element of Liam Delap's game. Saw that to great effect at Ipswich last season. He will battle and scrap with anybody. That's what he's been brought on by Enzo Maresca for in this game. Keep Arsenal on their toes and make sure, starting from him, Chelsea can keep the back door locked. Here's Rice, Mosquera. Just tiptoes over the halfway line here to Julian Timber. Mosquera back to Rice. Arsenal need to get a bit of zip, a bit of tempo about them if they're going to find a winner here. This will absolutely suit Chelsea, just carouselling the ball side to side, trying to pick a little gap in that Blues resistance. Madueke this time down the right up against Cucurella. He just ran out of road there. Runs it out of play. Good defending from Marc Cucurella. Anthony Taylor again with a quick word for Robert Sanchez over delaying restarts. Might well be Sanchez's final warning. He is one of the players who's not been booked so far today, Robert Sanchez. It's only Marc Cucurella in Chelsea blue that is sitting on a card as we head into the final 5 minutes. Arsenal meanwhile have got 5 on a booking. And this is what Chelsea want, stop-start. There's a foul on halfway there as Cucurella has his hands wrapped around Noni Madueke, and then Merino catches James, so the decision will actually go in the opposite direction. Chalobah aimed up towards Delap. Neither he nor Hincapié are able to win that header, so it's on Miles Lewis-Skelly to clear away up towards Victor Gyökeres. We've seen very, very little of him since he's come on. Chelsea will try and go from back to front as quickly as they can here, and that's a nice hold up on the edge of the penalty area by Pedro Neto. And a really important challenge from Declan Rice as Enzo Fernandez tries to race in and gather that loose ball. Thundering tackle on the halfway line from Malo Gusto on Miles Lewis-Skelly. Now it's Chelsea's turn to advance down their right hand side. Gusto with the cross. That will not be kept in play by Alejandro Garnacho. Goal kick for Arsenal. Chelsea are preparing a change or two for the final few minutes. Enzo Maresca looks to just shut this down. Point apiece, of course, doesn't change Arsenal's position at the top of the table, but it does move Chelsea back up to second. 3 points behind them as it stands. 29 for Arteta, 26 for Enzo Maresca. That is, of course, unless there is to be a final twist. Odegaard curls the cross in. Gathered by Sanchez. Bowled out immediately to Pedro Neto. He's got pace to charge away here. Miles Lewis-Skelly is caught upfield, so it's Neto against Nkape once again. And Neto goes for the curler. Didn't have enough whip and bend there to zip back into the top corner of David Raya's goal. Itching to get himself in on that left foot and try and zip one beyond the Arsenal number one. Just eats down a bit more time for Chelsea. And Maresca will make those changes. He might wait until added time. Potentially there's been jumpers taken on and off. Or jumpers put on and then taken off, rather, in the Chelsea technical area. It's all about managing the minutes, managing the seconds here. To try and disrupt Arsenal's momentum in the Premier League. Derby win over Spurs last weekend, but they were frustrated up at Sunderland in their previous league game. As Timber tries to link over on that right hand side. Gyökeres with the layoff, Merino with the drive, Sanchez with the save. And Gyökeres has gone diving in here on Robert Sanchez after he leapt to his feet to repel him. And there's another decision here for Anthony Taylor. Both sets of players have gone streaming in. Robert Sanchez has stayed down. And it's a yellow card for Victor Gyökeres. Really good save initially from Robert Sanchez. Just springs to his left-hand side to keep out the attempt from Merino. He's raising his hand here to shake the one of apology offered by Victor Gyökeres. Merino was on the stretch there as he just steered it on target from the edge of the box. And now the traditionalists here will say that Victor Gyökeres has every right to go for that ball, as Robert Sanchez doesn't have it in his hands. But he's gone scything in on the Chelsea goalkeeper. It's definitely a yellow card. I think this may possibly be looked at by VAR. Gyökeres' only possible saving grace is that he doesn't go studs first in. Otherwise it could have been much, much worse for him and for Robert Sanchez. The Chelsea players are not happy about that one bit. Final minute of the 90 here. And it's all eyes back on Anthony Taylor. Robert Sanchez is okay. And that may just save Victor Gyökeres' skin, because that was right in that territory of in between a yellow and a red. Chelsea have already been reduced to 10 men. And making that point to Anthony Taylor, but to no avail. So, final few seconds of the 90. And Sam Barrett will update us on added time in the coming seconds. Sanchez back on his feet. He will get us back underway here. Everybody in Chelsea blue over the halfway line. They want Sanchez to go long, and go long he does. Bit of head tennis here as Declan Rice knocks it back over the halfway line. Neto caught there by Miles Lewis-Skelly. Play on, says the referee. Chelsea have got possession down this right hand side. Neto has stayed down as Merino comes across and challenges Gusto. Play will be halted now for Pedro Neto to be looked at. I think the referee there has just told him to get on with it if he's not significantly hurt. Just caught on the back of the ankle by Miles Lewis-Skelly. We will have 4 minutes added on. We've got a Chelsea throw in here for Malo Gusto. Hurled down the line for Delap. Gives away a foul there. Lewis-Skelly just screening in front of him. Arsenal want to get on with this quickly. Declan Rice, who's effectively moved back as a sweeper in the last 20 minutes to allow all these attacking players that Arteta has brought on to try and do the business at the other end. Nothing doing so far. Here's Martin Odegaard. Again, that Chelsea press. Forcing him backwards. Garnacho this time. Hincapié. Over the halfway line. Roared on by his manager here. Victor Gyökeres will show for him. Instead just squares it in field for Mosquera. Rice. Saka being manhandled there by Marc Cucurella as Declan Rice strides forward. Ball in. Cleared away. Pedro Neto can't get Chelsea moving forward. Good anticipation there from Miles Lewis-Skelly. Now Madueke. He's got Gusto on the back foot inside the Chelsea penalty area. The fall for Hincapié to curl one in. Saka with the knockdown. Gyökeres can't get there. Cleared away by Trevor Chalobah. All hands to the pump here for Chelsea. And eventually, there's a delayed flag that flashes up. Bukayo Saka, who just went a little early there when the ball came in from Hincapié and kind of stopped Arsenal's momentum, and 2 minutes of the additional 4 have been played. And as you wait for Robert Sanchez, we can just take a quick glance ahead. Arsenal's next Premier League game is Wednesday night, home to Brentford. That's a 7:30 start. We will have live audio coverage here on Flash Score. Chelsea fans biting their nails here. They're away at Leeds on Wednesday evening. Again, we will have live audio coverage for that. An 8:15 PM kickoff at Elland Road. So 90 seconds to go here. Rice again takes that on the half turn inside the centre circle. If it's going to be a late hurrah from Arsenal, it needs to be now. And it needs to be something pretty special because Chelsea have defended with their lives here. Timber's cross from the right, blocked by Cucurella, almost span there to Miles Lewis-Skelly on the edge of the D on Chelsea's penalty area, but cleared away. Raya will hammer that back up into the sky, knocked forward by Pedro Neto. Throw into Arsenal, just over the halfway line, quickly taken by Piero Hincapié. Miles Lewis-Skelly. Final minute of added time. Declan Rice, now Lewis-Skelly again. Mosquera, Hincapié. Everybody but Raya pushed into the Chelsea half of the field, into the Chelsea defensive third really. And Madueke takes over down this near left hand side. Got the run to the byline of Piero Hincapié. Hincapié lifts it into the box, and that's a brilliant bit of defending in there from Trevor Chalobah. Gets the touch in front of Victor Gyökeres. Saka will try and recycle it, floats it back in and headed over by Mikel Merino. That was the chance there.